Culture is all around us. As Americans, we usually hate to be dirty. There's a bad stereotype that is associated with being dirty. Also, as Americans, we love to tell stories and we like to listen to stories. I know I do. That's where Fisher's narrative paradigm came into play in our first one. In our first video, we told the story of how Stephanie was freaked out by the thought of having bed bugs. She thought she was clean, but she was unaware of the danger that dirty sheets can cause. After some great advice from our doctor, TJ, Stephanie realized that the only way to stop bed bugs is by cleaning your sheets regularly. And even if you shower 5 times a day, your sheets still need to be clean, so beware of your sheets and clean once a week.
Our second skit that we did was with the talk show. I don't know if anyone remembers, but it was with Body Soil and the OxiClean Man and Mr. Clean. And Jen was our host. She was William Summers. And she basically, in that skit, she symbolized what was feminine rhetoric. She used, like when they would get into a fight, she would push them off of each other. But then you saw like how the men acted in the skit, and they were fighting, and that's just how they represented themselves in that way. The talk show also symbolized American culture to its fullest. Every time you turn on a channel on TV, there's always a talk show on. It's an easily relatable example in our culture, and it's also easily recognized. So everyone who wears the sheets pretty much.
When presenting Kenny's rhetoric to our audience, we felt it would best be personified with a scene from a coffee house. Shane's prologue for a new and exciting way to wash your sheets was intended to give an expression to our very own poetry and motion performer, Jen. The audience snapped their fingers as Jen entered the stage to better personify the feel of the cool cats at the coffee house. While the colorful and eloquent words were being articulated in the background, our graceful player physically became poetry in motion. The soothing sound of the stream behind her was used to portray a sense of calm and tranquility that Jen was feeling while washing. Jen was used to show how effortless it is for her audience to wash her sheets, while Shane was used to persuade the audience into taking that action. This coffee house scene emulated an open mic night where such performances would take place. Coffee houses in American culture are well known for their open mic nights. These nights are an open forum for singers, musicians, and poets to perform their work to the public. Poetry readings at these events can range from one person reading their deepest, darkest desires in a rhyme to multiple people physically performing the words that are being expressed through verse. We felt this would reach our audience and to relate to the too cool culture of today. Beware your sheets, clean once a week.
For our final skit, we combine the American symbols of blindness, the blanket scene of Charles Schultz's Peanuts, and the new media reality show, Intervention, to symbolize a type of media rhetoric. The symbols that came forth and were the most obvious because of our culture was the obsessive blanket possession and the group intervention that usually applies to problems with drugs and alcohol. These symbols are only effective because of the context in which we experience them. Without our shared experiences of Peanuts comic strips or what we know about drug interventions, this skit would have made no sense to any of you. What the blanket obsession and that gratuitous Charlie Brown missing a football kickoff mean to us is defined in such a way because our culture has represented it this way. If TJ came in here today with a blanket on his shoulder, even if he was smelling it, you might think he's a little weird. You might think he was a little weird, but you wouldn't assume he's been carrying it around his whole life. By talking to our culturally shared Peanuts and calling him Linus, you automatically know the situation. The idea of the show, Intervention, also puts a more negative and obsessive spin on the blanket. Even though the Peanuts character sat down and had a serious talk with Linus, we never really actually stated any real evidence why carrying around that blanket was a problem. American culture now ties the whole group of people waiting around in a small semicircle with one chair to talk to someone about something as the removal of some bad habit or addiction. Our cultural context and representations help these skits, along with a lot of humor and a lot of the communication we use every day, make sense. Clean your sheets once a week. Beware your sheets once a week.
Have you found a bed bug? Have trouble with stains in your sheets? Can't find the time to wash your sheets? Have an addiction to your blanket and drag it everywhere you go? Well, if you said yes, you have a problem. Cleaning your sheets at least once a week reduces the chances of getting bed bugs or getting sick. So remember, Beware of your sheets, clean once a week. It's the American way. This advertisement is brought to you by Sheets.
I thought it was good.
I like it.